hold your head high, cause you a pretty woman. Get your runway stride on and keep it going. Girl, live your life. I just want to be myself. Yeah, don't sweat, don't be yourself. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Girl, be yourself. That's why I be myself. And I wanna love it. Let them get mad. They gon' hate anyway, don't you get back? Doesn't matter if you're going wrong with their plan. They'll never be happy cause they're not happy with themselves. I'm talking about things that I know.
I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up, I like the waves. We'll rise up, in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
The American dream belongs to all of us.
We have to choose between change and more of the same.
This is your campaign.
Thank you for attending this Biden-Harris Divine Nine mobilization event with Senator Kamala Harris. Please welcome DJ D. Nice.
The blackness, keep on. Never say die, keep on.
I want to welcome everyone from the Divine Nine. It's D. Nice. Come on.
Never say die, keep on. Never say die, never say die, keep on.
Let's go. Shout to everyone from the Divine Nine. Once again, it's D. Nice. You know why we're here. Let's go.
In the midst of sorrow, you can't see up and looking down. A brighter day tomorrow will bring.
You know we're here in honor of Senator Harris. And you know she's an AKA, so I gotta start with the AKAs. Show some love in that chat right now. Come on.
Telling you this can never be done. No matter how hard reality seems, just hold on to your dreams, yeah.
Come on.
Long as you keep your head to the sky, can we? Long as you keep your head to the sky.
Come on.
You better put them hands together
Shout to Ajwa.
and act like you know up in here.
You know she's a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta. Come on. Gotta show some love to the Deltas. Come on.
Come on.
Once again, it's D. Nice.
I feel like having some church up in here. Come on.
Come on. I gotta let this breathe. I gotta let this breathe. Come on. Shout to everyone from the Divine Nine. Let's celebrate together. Come on, and just.
You can't take my joy, devil. Makes me clap.
Let me see your hands up right now.
Oh, you better put
Come
them
on.
hands together and have a Holy Ghost party with me.
I want to switch lanes for a minute. We have over 25 Divine Nine members here right now. We're doing it big. Come on.
Up in here. Put your hands together. Put your hands together.
Come on.
Hallelujah. Come on and say with me, GP. I can't
I know we're talking about the Divine Nine.
Where to you? Oh, when I think of it.
But my brother's in here. Terrence J. What's up, Terrence? I think Terrence is a Q, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
Put them together. Put your hands together. Come on. Put your hands together. Now, young people, if
Once
you
again,
don't
it's
know
D
how to
Nice.
work, come on,
Come on. We're just warming up right now. We're just warming up with the Divine Nine.
Holding me close. What was I gonna do? I let myself go. And now we fly through the stars. I hope this night will last forever.
Shout out to the Zetas. Represent your blue and white. Come on.
I've been waiting for you. It's been so long. I knew just what I
Show
should
that
do
D9
when I
love.
heard your song.
Come on.
Fill my heart with purpose. You gave me freedom. You knew I could not resist. I needed someone.
I actually think Shaka's a Zeta, right? Shaka's a Zeta. Come on, let's go.
Ain't nobody loves me better. Makes me happy. Makes me feel this way. Ain't nobody loves me better. I wait for night time to bring it to me. Can't believe I'm the one. I was so lonely. I feel like no one to feel. I must be dreaming. I want this dream to be real. I need this feeling.
Once again, it's D Nice. Come on, D9. Let's go.
This night will last forever.
You know the song, sing along, sing along.
Ain't nobody loves me better. Makes me happy. Makes me feel this way. Ain't nobody loves me better. Ain't nobody.
Come on. Shout out to everybody from the Divine Nine. You know we're here to support Senator Harris. But until then, I need you to feel this good vibration. Good vibrations only. Come on.
You make me happy. This you can bear. You split right beside me. Yeah. And I won't forget. And I really love you. You should know. I wanna make sure I'm right, boy. Before I let go.
Before I let go,
Come on.
before I let go. D-Nice, baby.
Sigmas represent. Come on. Shout out to the Kappas. Come on. Once again, it's D Nice.
Whoa, whoa.
Let's dance. I gotta let this breathe. I gotta let this breathe as we support Senator Harris. Come on.
You made me happy.
Come on.
This you can bear. You stood right beside me. Yeah. And I won't forget.
We've been doing this together for 8 months virtually.
And I really love you.
5 more days until the
You
election.
should know.
We have so much work to do. Come on.
I wanna make sure I'm right, girl. Before I let go.
We gotta let this breathe.
Girl, it's a shame. I won't be foolish, no. I wanna know.
Let's go.
I wanna make sure I'm right, girl, before I let go. Yeah.
Once again, it's D Nice. Come on.
You know I think the sun rises and shines on you. You know there's nothing.
Come on.
Nothing.
Shout out to everyone on here from the Divine Nine. Let's go. What's the name of the song?
Before I let you go.
Once again, this is D Nice. I just want to introduce the host of today's event. Please make some noise for my brother Terrence J and one of my favorite comedians, Cheryl Underwood. This is D Nice.
All right. Well, also, I'm not just a comedian. I'm the host of CBS's The Talk. I'm a contributor on the Steve Harvey Morning Show. I have my own radio show, Cheryl Underwood Radio, and I am the 23rd International President of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Z5. So sweet it is. And I would like to get this agenda started to introduce the next Vice President of the United States. That's right. I'm going to name it and I'm going to claim it. We will bring forward Congresswoman Frederica S. Wilson, who proudly represents Florida 24th Congressional District. It is one of the most ethnically and culturally diverse districts in the nation, and it includes parts of Northwest Miami-Dade and Southern Broward counties. Now, this good sister, strong AKA sister, this Congresswoman, she's also the founder of 5,000 Role Models of Excellence Project. This project seeks to save the lives of Black boys in her district by giving them enrichment opportunities and rewarding their efforts. And she is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Come forward, sister, and introduce the future Vice President of these United States, our sister, Kamala Harris. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead. She gonna do her thing. Uh-oh, is he muted?
Okay. Cheryl, can you hear me?
Yes, I was told we were supposed to move forward, my dear brother of Omega Psi Phi.
Okay, so we're moving forward. So let's move forward. Are we going to our first guest?
Okay. Well, I tell you what, as we say in Greekdom, and all the Greeks out there that know they meaning, we will accept the agenda with flexibility. We will adopt with flexibility. That's what we say, so that means when things happen, we roll with it. We will be strolling to the polls. So where would you like to go, my brother of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated? Where would you like to go, Terrence Jack?
I'm right here with you. I got your back. First of all, you look incredible today. You're one of my favorite multi-hyphenates. I love watching you on the talk, so it's always a pleasure to work with you. So thank you for having me. So listen, if you're just joining us right now, we want to thank you so much. Shout outs to over 30,000 Greeks that are in attendance all across the world right now. We got all the Greek letter organizations hanging out with us, and spoke to the senator. She said that because a lot of homecomings got canceled, that today's Zoom, she wants us to have fun. Today we're going to have fun. We're organizer and rallying, but we're going to have a good time because we are days away from the biggest election of our lives. November 3rd is the day, that's the target day, and we all have to show up and show out. We have to get all of our organizations to pull it together. We got to support each other, and I know we got some of the people on this line right now that are going to lead the charge in organizing us across the nation. So on behalf of Cheryl and on behalf of D Nice, we're going to kick the show off. Cheryl, you ready to do this?
Yeah. And today's event, my Omega brother, is a celebration of our Divine Nine family Black Greek letter organization organization members, National Panhellenic Council members. This is a call to action for us to mobilize and put one of our own in the White House. And we've talked about it. We've been on Zoom calls about it. Now we must be about it. This is time for action. This will be over November the 3rd. We will vote. We will vote now, and we will vote in a safe and efficient way. And I notice that I see some of my sorors. I see our international president of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Valerie Hollingsworth Breaker, Z5 Soror. So sweet, so sweet. It is our brothers of Phi Beta Sigma here yet. Have our brothers arrived? I know how everybody feels when I say that. I know how they feel. But where would you like to go, Brother Omega Terrence J? Where would you like to go?
I'm going to humbly introduce our first speaker today as we kick off our Divine Nine Love right now. He's my grand bossilist. So if he decides, I don't know if he might sit out a hot while he talks. I don't know.
Okay.
He might throw who knows what could happen right now. Dr. David Marion, our grand bossilist for Omega Psi Phi, is going to kick things off for the Divine Nine.
He's also part of the Council of Presidents as well.
Good boss.
Thank you so much, Terrence J. and Cheryl Underwood, for those introductions and that high energy. I serve as the chairman of the Council of Presidents of the National Panhellenic Council, the Divine Nine. The presidents all are here in their capacity as the leaders of their respective organizations. We are here at the invitation of Senator Kamala Harris. We're excited to be here, excited to have done our part over the last year, over this election season, to get out to vote. With that, I'd like to introduce the presidents one by one. First, I'd like to introduce Dr. Everett B. Ward, General President of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to Cheryl and Terrence, it's an honor to be here with all my colleagues. The fierce urgency of now demands that we vote early and in record number with early voting. The fierce urgency of now demands that we march to the polls on November the 3rd like we've never marched before. Silence is not an option. Let our collective voices be heard on November the 3rd at the ballot box. Vote, baby, vote. A voteless people is a hopeless people. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. Let's do it together.
Thank you, President Ward. I'll remember that. Vote, baby, vote. Next, we'll have Dr. Glenda Baskin Glover, International President and CEO of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Thank you. Thank you. First, we commend the Honorable Joe Biden for having the audacity to choose this awesome Black woman to run alongside him on this ticket. So if he can do that for us, the least we can do for ourselves is let's get out and vote. Let's get folk out to vote. I'm giving a shout out to all the members of Alpha Kappa Alpha. Alpha Kappa Alpha's call to actions for all 300,000 members to vote with your families, your friends, your church members, your inner circle, your outer circle. It doesn't matter, just vote. We partnered with the National Bar Association, with a lot of attorneys, about 1,000 across the country, to work to protect our vote, our right to vote, to lessen the amount of voter suppression and voter intimidation. That's our commitment. That's our call to action. Let's get this vote out. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Glover. Next, we'll have Reuben A. Shelton III, Esquire, Grand Polemarch of Kappa Alpha Psi Sorority Fraternity Incorporated.
All right, thank you, Frater Marion, Brother Chair, Soror Cheryl, Frater Terrence. Thank you all for facilitating this critically important web session. And so I'm reaching out to all the dynamic brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi, but this is a message that I could send to everyone. You know, the fundamental purpose of Kappa Alpha Psi is achievement. And this nation is on the verge of experiencing a monumental achievement next week. But it's going to take all hands on deck and at the polls, unleashing the power that is found in your vote. So I know I can count on you all to show up if you haven't already done so already, and ensure that your line brothers, other friends, and relatives do the same. We're having a great time now, but we got a lot of work to do. And I know I can count on you all to vote. God bless you all.
Thank you, Grand Polemarch, who also serves as the Vice Chairman of the Council of Presidents. Next, we have Beverly E. Smith, National President and CEO of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Thank you, Freddie Marion and Team Biden-Harris. In the spirit of our sorors, Shirley Chisholm, Barbara Jordan, Daisy Bates, Loretta Lynch, our 7 sensational women commerce, and soror Fannie Lou Hamer, who said what we all feel because we're all tired of being sick and tired. I urge my sorors in Delta Sigma Theta sorority to honor our heritage and their legacy by making sure you take care of business by empowering our communities, look out for voter suppression, and cast your vote. This, my brothers and sisters, is our time.
Thank you, President Smith. Next, we have Michael E. Crystal, the International President of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated.
Thank you, Chairman Marion, Soror Underwood, and certainly Terrence J. The Honorable Congressman John Lewis said, the vote is the most powerful nonviolent tool we have, and we must use it. Here's what Phi Beta Sigma is doing in these remaining days as we look forward to this awesome election. One is we're going to continue our energy and effort around mobilization. Yes, we've seen some really good responses out there, but we know within the states of Florida, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, we're asking our members to really work hard within those communities. Lastly, on the day of the election, look for Phi Beta Sigma men dressed in our Sigma paraphernalia to be at the voting locations within their respective community. As my good friend Beverly Smith said, we know that voter suppression is out there, so we're going to do everything we can to minimize this. And lastly, to all, let's make sure we are there between now and Tuesday. Thank you and God bless.
Thanks, President Crystal. Next, we'll have Valerie Hollingsworth Baker, International President of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
Yeah. Thank you, Chairman Marion, and thank you, my sister Cheryl and Terrence J. I am so happy that we are here together as a collective group. And I want to say something to my sisters at this moment. We are in the final 5 days of this election season, and I am here to encourage all of my Zeta sisters and our auxiliary members who have not voted yet to go to your assigned polling site and vote. This is the most important vote of our lives, and we need to make our vote count. Zetas have been on the ground working tirelessly every day, making sure that we mobilize, we encourage, we bring the knowledge of what we need to do for our community to help them to understand why this vote is so important. This is a vote of our lives. Please make sure that you do your part to show up and save America. Thank you.
Thanks so much, President Hollingsworth Baker. Next, we have Rashida S. Liberty, the International Grand Basileus of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated.
Good afternoon to everyone. I'm grateful for this opportunity today for all, and especially the foundational women who stretch globally and stand on the principle of greater service, greater progress. I would be remiss if I did not thank those 100,000 women of Sigma Gamma Rho who have made a collective impact this election season while serving safely. I'm here today not just organizationally, but civically with a call to action. The most powerful nonviolent tool we have, our vote, is also the great equalizer, as your power to vote is not dictated by your education, your gender, your financial status, nor your age. So what does that mean? This is the opportunity, my sorors are listening today, to have a voice for your children, your communities, and those who make decisions about your experiences, not just nationally, but locally. The women of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority nationally, and more importantly in the communities represented this afternoon, stand united with you and seek to shift the descriptor of battleground states to the deliberate states, the United States, with a clear statement across this country, Tuesday, November 3rd. This is our call to action.
Thanks, President Liberty. Next, we have Andre R. Manson, the International Grand Polaris of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated.
Thank you, Brother Chair, and good evening, everyone, and also to my wonderful, great brothers of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. I want to thank you, Senator Harris, esteemed guests and staff, for affording us this opportunity. I'm reaching out to all our members and the people participating tonight. I'm asking you, please do not underestimate the power of your voice. Due to the current events and the social landscape that has sparked a fire and also made an awareness that calls for immediate and constant action. I am charging each and every one of you all to preserve our past, secure our future. Our people and our communities are depending on you. If not us, who else? Go to the polls. Thank you.
Thank you, President Manson. The only item on the agenda of the Council of Presidents over the last year has been getting out the vote. As the Grand Basileus of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity, my message to the men of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity is the same today as it has always been throughout this election season. We must get everyone we can registered, everyone educated about the down ballot issues and races, and talk about what's at stake and get everyone we can to the polls. Elections have consequences, and we were taught that well in 2016. So today I'm asking Omega men who have voted or those who have not voted to make certain they go to the polls in large numbers on November 3rd in your paraphernalia, in your purple and gold, to protect our polls. Your presence alone will calm any fears or anxieties our people may have to vote. Stand in the line for those who are having difficulty standing for long periods of time. We've had successful presidential elections in the Civil War, during the Great Depression, and through two world wars. And Omega men stand ready to ensure we have a successful presidential election even during a pandemic. Let's go vote. Thanks so much for this opportunity. I turn it back over to you, my brother Terrence J. And my sister Cheryl Underwood.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And Terrence J., I think it is always an honor and privilege to be with all of our presidents. I think we can mobilize and stroll to the polls. We all know which one of us run the yard, but we are always in the house. And we're going to make sure that this election is an incredible turnout. What you feel about that, my Omega brother, Terrence J.?
Couldn't agree with you more. First of all, it was so good to see all the presidents there, see us all in solidarity together. We have a big cause ahead. And like he just said, we have a responsibility. I didn't even think about doing that on November 3rd, but that's an excellent idea. I've already submitted my ballot, but I'm going to stand in line for people that can't stand in line. I'm going to make sure I'm going to have my Letterman jacket on, and we have to police this. We have to fight for our rights and make sure that we're there for those that can't fight for themselves. So this is a big election on November 3rd. So even if you already early voted and submitted your ballot, we still got to be active. We still got to make sure that voter suppression isn't taking over this vote. We have an opportunity to not just get, Vice President Biden in office, but we can get our sister in office too. We can get Senator Harris in office, and that's history making. She's one of us. So I'm so excited about this election, Cheryl.
And Brother Terrence J., we have to make sure we voting up and down ballot. We need to control the House. We need to flip the Senate because we don't want no rough start. We don't want no obstruction. All the shenanigans that are going on, we can't have any of that either. We have the power. We will stroll to the polls, all organizations, and the community needs to see us. They need to see us. We are in the communities, and we are always going to do good in the neighborhood. But when they see us, then they feel that there is hope. In your colors, in your letters, we will vote. And that encourages everybody to vote. Auxiliaries, all of our young brothers and sisters in the organization. Don't go for the foolishness where they try to use people that we look up to. We are unified and we will vote. Where are we going next, Brother Terrence J.? Where are we going in this agenda?
We're in a holding pattern for about 2 more minutes before it's time for the big show. But I do want to piggyback off of what you were saying earlier, is how imperative it is to not just vote for the presidency and executive branch, but we need the Senate and the House as well. I was on a chat debating the other day about what Obama did in office. Not only did Obama achieve a lot of things in office, but he had his hands tied behind his back because the Senate and the House did everything possible stop that man from getting laws across and bills passed.
That's right.
So we got to set Joe and we got to set Senator Harris up in a position to win. We got to get the House and the Senate. And, you know, also what you said is so smart. We got to show up in our colors. You shoot me a text if you hit in the street. I'll meet you out there in my jacket, baby. Whatever you want, I'm with you. Because we need to be bringing waters, pizza, whatever, the people that are in line. We got to make sure that we get the selection the right way.
And I think the country is understanding that we need leadership during this pandemic. We want to get the economy back going, but we haven't had leadership on the top level. Also, we understand the obstruction game. We also understand why they put young judges in there so they can control the judiciary for generations. Long of us will be long gone while they've already put somebody young and has a point of view that's not for the people. But the people had the power of the vote. Do not worry. Put God first, and let's go on in the polls and stroll all the way to the polls. And I think my Madam Grand Ambassador Valerie Hollingsworth Baker will agree with me. This is our centennial year. 2020 is our year. And we will make history. We will. We don't just know history. We're about to make history. And for all you other organizations that have been partying with us, we will party for a purpose all the way to the polls. All the way.
We have to, Cheryl. You are 100% correct. We have to. You know, in addition to that, there are 31 million eligible Black voters in the United States of America. If we show up together, we can make this happen. And I want to give a particular challenge to the Black men. The Black women in our community have been organized. They've been together. They've been rallying. They've been the difference makers in so many of these instances. As Black men, we got to stand by our sisters. We have to support them. And this is an amazing opportunity with the first female vice presidential candidate in history. This is our time, fellas. We got to stand up and stand strong for our women and be there at the polls November 3rd. We got to cast our ballots and we got to make this thing happen, Cheryl. We got to make it happen, baby.
That's right. There will be unity in the community. And I love all the graphics where they had all the sorors, all of their colors. They were strolling, looking finer. Then they had all the fraternity men looking dashing. I said, all right, we about to do this here. But what I love is that the mainstream in this country will see us and we will have a seat at the table. We are 9 great, powerful organizations founded for a purpose. In Zeta, we are a community conscious, action-oriented organization, and we all are civil rights organizations. We fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. All right, Brother Terrence J., I think it's time for us to move on. Have they told us what our next move will be, brother? What will our next move be?
Yeah, 100%. It's time. I think we did the intro earlier because the schedule changed around. As we all know, Senator Harris has a very, very busy calendar. So when we get her on, we got to get her on. But I think right now, if I'm reading this properly, we can go ahead and introduce the representative so we can get this thing started, Cheryl.
So why don't you take that entire list? I think you could take that entire list because the members of the Congressional Black Caucus who are joining us this evening for the Black Greek Letter Organization Roll Call represent their organization and tell you about their voting plans. We've done that. And now you got to understand how powerful our congressional members are. So we want to introduce them. Go ahead, Terrence J.
Yeah, we're going to introduce, but actually the senator just jumped on. So we're going to get to right now, if Representative Wilson could come back to the Zoom, we'd love to go ahead and get into our featured speaker today. And then we'll get right to the Congress members right after that, Cheryl. So Representative Wilson, please take it away.
Okay. You all are doing such a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. This is exciting.
Yes.
We're having a good time here for my girl. One of Joe Biden's first presidential decisions as he was running was to select a running mate. That was his first. And, after much media back and forth, conversation, opinions, and all kind of arguments, people going back and forth, he picked an amazing woman, U.S. Senator Kamala Harris. I'm sure that from the beginning, it appeared to us and the public that Joe was having a hard time. But I am sure that he thought just as I did, that she is the most qualified vice presidential nominee to ever appear on a major party ticket.
That's
right. She ran one of the largest legal operations in the world as California's Attorney General, and she had run for president. I mean, how more ready can you be? You were running for president too. To top it off, she will be ready on day one. To not only serve as vice president, but God forbid, something happens, she will be able to serve as the first female president, breaking two glass ceilings. She brings to the table a biography of so many firsts. The first woman to be elected California Attorney General, the first Black woman to represent California in the U.S. Senate, and those positions she proposed earth-shattering legislation that changed the lives of homeowners, children, Obamacare, climate change, and won a $1.1 billion with the B dollar settlement against a for-profit education company that scammed students and veterans, and we were cheering for her. Since being elected to the U.S. Senate, she has introduced and sponsored legislation to help the middle class, increase the minimum wage, and reform cash bail, and has defended the legal rights of refugees and immigrants. Now, we've been hearing all this talk about Black men being ignored in this presidential campaign. They are complaining. The newspapers are bringing it up. The TVs are bringing it up. But let me tell you about Kamala Harris. She was the leading Senate sponsor for our bill, the Commission on the Social Status of Black Men and Boys, which was signed into law during the last legislative session after the murder of George Floyd by the police. This commission will establish a permanent bipartisan commission within the United States Commission on Civil Rights and the Department of Justice. This 19-member commission will include congressional lawmakers, executive branch appointees, issue experts, activists, and other stakeholders who will examine social disparities affecting Black men and boys in America. Can you imagine something like that passing the U.S. Senate? Based on its findings, the commission will issue policy recommendations to Congress, the White House, and federal agencies. And the commission will craft legislation to implement those recommendations, like the chokehold and no knock warrants. To top it off with icing on the cake, our wonderful, wonderful Kamala graduated from a historically Black college, Howard University, and is a member of the Divine Nine, one of them, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
That's right. That's right.
Like that. We all support her, all of us collectively. We all love her, and we all embraced her nomination. That's why we are gathered on this very important call this evening. This is our Divine Nine call, our happy hour. When I call out your sorority or fraternity, I want you to scream so loud as you can, because I want to hear you all the way here in Miami. Alpha Kappa, Alpha Phi Alpha, Kappa Alpha Psi, Omega Psi Phi, Delta Sigma Theta, Phi Beta Sigma, Zeta Phi Beta, Sigma Gamma Rho, Iota Phi Beta. Before I introduce Kamala, I want to talk just for a minute about how important it is to vote, because we don't want to forget that. Because I call myself Frederica Vote Before Election Day Wilson. See, because I decided that I'm voting in October. I'm not voting in November. So when Halloween comes, I'm voting. I will have already voted. Because this is very dangerous time in our nation. COVID-19 is taking over our communities, and we have a responsibility as the talent intent that W.E.B. Du Bois talked about. And we have a responsibility. Number one, we have to vote. And number two, we have to make sure that everyone in our sorority, everyone in our families, everyone in our fraternity, everyone in our churches, everyone in our schools, everyone in our neighborhood, everyone in our families, everyone we know, go to the polls and vote, and never go to the polls alone. If you have a sports car, take one person with you. If you have a sedan, take 4 people. If you have a van, take 8 people. If you have a bus, take 40, but never go to the polls alone. So why are we here? We're here because I am introducing, and I do it very proudly, the dynamic,
Say the title.
beautiful, brilliant, and ambitious 2020 Vice Presidential nominee, running mate to presidential candidate Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. You have elevated the Divine Nine and our historically Black colleges and universities to stardom. People no longer wonder what a sorority or a fraternity means to the Black community because you have clarified for the world. Glenda, it means scholarship, service, philanthropy, and faith. Praise God for you, Kamala Harris. I love you, my dear friend. The show is yours. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Frederica, I just cannot thank Congressman Wilson enough. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You have been so encouraging and supportive, as has everyone. And I want to, of course, acknowledge Dr. Glover for all of your leadership and sisterhood, but to everyone, all of the leaders and all of those who are attending this convening, I want to thank you for your leadership. You know, it was my joy. Many of you may have seen on the night of the Democratic convention, and when I officially accepted the nomination to be the vice presidential nominee, I talked about what family is to me. And I mentioned family being, of course, the family I was born into, family being the family that I have chosen, my godchildren and others. And I talked about the Divine Nine family. And it was interesting because, you know, when you and all my fellow members of the CBC, I thank you, I love you. We work so hard together every day. And, you know, and they know this experience that when you take these stages, it is an opportunity often to educate people about the history of America, a history that they should know, but sometimes need a little learning. And to talk about the Divine Nine and the family of the Divine Nine was a particular source of joy and honor for me. Because as we all know, the sororities and fraternities that make up the Divine Nine were founded on the principle of scholarship and the principle of faith fueling our responsibility in service to all mankind. Ours is a family of leaders who have been national and international leaders. Ours is a family in the Divine Nine of people who have excelled and have shown in every sector of our country and our world what can be unburdened by what has been. That's who we are. And whether we are graduates and members of alumni chapters or students, and I know there are many on this call, we have been charged as part of the responsibility that comes with the benefit and the joy of being a member of the Divine Nine. We have been charged with the responsibility to live in a righteous way as the legacy of those who founded our organizations, all with an understanding that we would go on to lead and never ask anyone permission to do that. And so when I think about this moment and this election, which the end of the election is in 5 days, I think we know, and everyone is on this call because this is a call of leaders, knowing that these final days and all of the days leading up to them have been a call for us to continue to do what we do in furtherance of service to all mankind and to our country and the country we love. And the stakes couldn't be higher. We are in the midst of at least 4 crises in our country. There is a public health crisis that has killed over 225,000 people in just the last several months. Over 8.5 million people have contracted this virus. And the numbers include the fact that Black folks are 3 times as likely to contract COVID and twice as likely to die from it. There has been so much about this pandemic that, in my opinion, has been an accelerator in that it has highlighted and magnified what was wrong before and made it worse. And so when we think about what is at stake in this election, it includes on that subject what we need in terms of leadership that embraces science, that takes on a role of responsibility, that is informed by fact, and that then displays itself through speaking truth in a way that has as its purpose to heal. And that is before us then in this election. We look at the financial crisis, at economic devastation that's being compared to the Great Depression. And then again, looking at the impact on all communities, but with a particular emphasis I will make on the Black community and what we have seen in terms of our small businesses. I've seen numbers that tell me almost 50%, almost half of our small businesses have closed with potentially a very small prospect of reopening. And what we know is that our businesses are part of the lifeblood, the economic lifeblood of our communities. What we know, and so many members of the Divine Nine are exactly those business leaders, that they are not only business leaders, but they are community leaders, civic leaders. They are the role models. They are the mentors. We look at the impact that we are, where we are in terms of the challenges we are facing now, in terms of a long overdue reckoning on racial injustice in America, and what we must do to fight, to again speak truth about the history of this country, to speak truth in a way that Joe Biden is not afraid to do, to say Black Lives Matter, but to do it also understanding that it is not just about what we deal with today, but it's about also speaking truth about how we got here and what we need to do to fix it. And that is a conversation that we have been having, that we are willing to have, which is going forward, leaders acknowledging the fact of systemic racism and what we need to do to address it. And then, of course, there's the climate crisis. As you all know, I was born in Oakland, California. I represent the state of California in the Senate. We've seen up and down the West Coast, states burning with these wildfires. The Gulf Coast states right now, the Zeta, not Zeta Phi Beta, but Zeta, which has is the fifth storm to be named just this year. You know, they name storms only because it's that bad that they name it. So when we talk about the climate crisis, I was meeting when I was last in Michigan with the leaders in Flint. And so on the climate crisis, we know that we are talking about folks that are being beat up by this extreme changes in weather, and that it disproportionately affects communities of color. In fact, the numbers that I've seen of all Americans who live in low air quality areas, 70% are people of color. So these are just some of the crises that we are facing right now. But we also, in a moment of crisis, should see a moment of opportunity. And part of the opportunity at this moment comes with our ability to organize folks around the vote. And I'll just speak briefly on that, and then I'll end my comments. But I have been traveling all over our country. Just in the last week and a half, I've been to Michigan, I've been to North Carolina, I was in Florida. Yesterday I was in Arizona, the day before I was in Nevada, Ohio, you know, you name it, right? And what I will say is this. Not only is there a longstanding history, but there is a recent history of very concerted efforts to try and suppress our vote. Very purposeful efforts to try and confuse folks around how to vote, whether to vote, whether they can trust the system. And I do believe there are 3 reasons for everybody to vote in this election, and always. One is to honor the ancestors. People like our late, great hero, and now one of the ancestors, John Lewis, a member of the Divine Nine, who of course shed his blood on that Edmund Pettus Bridge. It is important to honor the ancestors and vote for that reason. It's important to vote because the stakes couldn't be higher. And it is important to vote, back to this point of voter suppression and intimidation, because we should ask, why are so many powerful people trying to make it so difficult for us to vote? Trying to suppress the vote, purge voter rolls, make it confusing, mess with the post office. We could even have a long conversation about what that is, right? And the post office being one of the first employers of Black federal workers in America and part of what helped build the middle class, but I'm not gonna go on that. But we have to ask, why are they so powerful people trying to make it so difficult for us to vote? And here's what I believe the answer is. Because they know our power. They know when we vote, things change. They know when we vote, we win. And so among the reasons to vote is because we should never be in a position of allowing anybody to take our voice and our power from us. And after all, isn't that part of the reason our founders created this vehicle through which we would convene in fellowship, convene together to find each other and to create a place for us to be together, to remind us we are not alone and that we have purpose and that we have agency and that we have a dream that we must fulfill based on self-determination and action. And so that's what I believe is before us. And I thank all of the leaders for being on this call. All of my dear friends from the Congressional Black Caucus and my colleagues. Let's get this done, 5 days. And you can also join us. We have phone banks that are gonna be going. You can text AFAM, short for African American, AFAM, at 30330. And let's just activate everybody and then get this thing done so we can get to work when this election is over. And again, thank you. And Frederica, thank you for that beautiful introduction. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to our future Vice President of these United States. And now let's introduce our members of Congress who are speaking. Congresswoman Bernice Johnson, Congressman Bobby Scott, Congressman Lacey Clay, Congresswoman Terry Sewell, and Congresswoman Joyce Beatty.
Hello, I'm Eddie Bernice Johnson. I'm a proud member of Congress representing the 30th District of Texas, and I'm a proud member, life member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, soon to be Golden. I am voting for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. As a matter of fact, I've already voted. And so I say, go Joe and Kamala.
Thank you. I'm Congressman Bobby Scott, one of 7 Alpha members in Congress. I represent Virginia's 3rd Congressional District, and I chair the House Committee on Education and Labor, the same committee chaired by Alpha member Adam Clayton Powell in the 1960s. So I know the backward steps taken by this administration in education, healthcare, and workplace safety, and I know the great progress we can make with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. So remember what Alphas have been saying for about 100 years: a voteless people is a hopeless people, and that's why I have already voted. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Lacey Clay, and I represent Missouri's 1st Congressional District, and I'm a proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi, and I'm so glad to call my grand postmark, Reuben Shelton, a friend and constituent. I voted a couple of weeks ago for Vice President Biden and Senator Harris, and to my Greek brothers and sisters, you can vote now up until, depending on your state and their rules, or go on election day. But your vote will make a difference. When you think about the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, how the House passed that, and now we need to flip the Senate in order to get that bill to President Biden's desk. So I cannot stress the importance of how critical this election is. So please go vote. And thank you for participating today.
Harry?
Who's next?
Terry.
Terry Sewell?
Oh, Terry.
Joyce.
Then I'll go. I'm Congresswoman Joyce Beatty from the great state of Ohio, 3rd Congressional District, life member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Delta Kappa Chapter, Central State HBCU College, Vice Chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. I voted today, but you can go to iwillvote.com. I joined 5 other members in the Congressional Black Caucus as members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. And yes, Shirley Chisholm, unbought, unbossed. First Black woman elected to Congress, member of the Congressional Black Caucus, where I am the vice chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. Go vote.
Terry Sewell.
Hi, I'm Congresswoman Terry Sewell, and I represent Alabama's 7th Congressional District. And as my pretty in pink indicates, I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I do so as a silver member over 25 years. In fact, I also began the chapter at Princeton University because they didn't have a chapter at Princeton University. So now they do, because we are the first, and we are so elated that our vice presidential nominee, Kamala Harris, is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority. I'm in my 5th term representing Alabama. I represent Birmingham's, my hometown of Selma, Alabama, as well as Montgomery and Tuscaloosa. I dare say it's Alabama's Civil Rights District, and I'm here to tell you that folks shed a little blood on a bridge in my hometown of Selma for the equal right of all of us to vote. And I just want to remind you of the great words of John Lewis, our beloved John Lewis. The vote is the most powerful, nonviolent tool in our democracy. I have already voted absentee in person at my courthouse last week. Definitely make a plan to vote. And remember, we must use this tool or we'll lose it. Thank you.
And Lucy.
Hi, I am Lucy McBath, and I represent Georgia's 6th Congressional District. I actually hold the seat that was once held by Newt Gingrich, and I'm the first minority in the history of Georgia to ever hold this seat. I am a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. Alpha Eta Chapter, Spring 80, Virginia State University. And I voted for Vice President Biden and Senator Harris because I believe in their ability to bring a vision that's inclusive and diverse to America and common sense back to Washington. And I have been working closely, my staff and I, with the Democratic Party of Georgia to make sure that we're doing grassroots mobilizing and organizing with phone banking and texting and virtual events like this to make sure that every single person in our constituency, but in the state of Georgia, has the ability to exercise their right to vote. Too much is at stake. Please make sure you have a plan to vote. Too much is at stake, and we've got to make democracy work again for us.
I think that's it.
Is Congresswoman Robin Kelly speaking?
I'm here. Hi, I'm Congresswoman Robin Kelly, and I represent the 2nd Congressional District of Illinois, and I'm a very proud member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority. I've been a member since December 1976, a very, very long time. And I plan on voting for Vice President Biden and Senator Harris tomorrow. And I'm voting for them because they are the best people we can have in office to right this ship, to get us back on the right tracks and to do everything we can do to solve our healthcare issues, our economic issues, our environmental issues, and our social justice issues. I'm proud to be a supporter, and I'm out in the streets and in Wisconsin, even though I represent Illinois, trying to get as many people to vote as possible. Thank you.
I think Terrence, you're a little muted, brother. I think I could, let me translate mute. Let me see if I can translate mute. He means we have our orders. Let's roll. Let's do what we need to do.
Guys, am I unmuted? Okay, I'm unmuted. Cheryl, I think some of them might have been lying on them years. That was the Black Don't Crack Congress panel. They look good. Right?
Speak on it. I want to see some of them old school pictures back in the day. But I will tell you this. This was a great day for all of us to come together. Now we have 2 more individuals that we have to introduce before we close and go out and do good in the neighborhood. Vote, vote, vote. Be loud, united, and engaged. Go blue. Who are we introducing now, Terrence?
Yeah, again, thank you so much to everybody for joining us all across the country. We have 2 representatives from the Biden-Harris ticket. And again, on behalf of Cheryl and myself, all of the Greeks, you guys are the leaders. We are the leaders. We have to make this election happen together. So let's make sure that we show up at the polls in record numbers this year, guys. We love y'all, and let's hand it over to the campaign.
Yes. Turn up the turnout. Go blue. Soul of the nation. Souls to the polls.
Greetings, Divine family, D-Nice and supporters. My name is Adjoa B. Asamoah, and I have the honor of serving as the National Advisor for Black Engagement for the Biden-Harris campaign. I am also a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and I work alongside a conscious and cool brother, Trey Baker, who not only serves as the National Director of African American Engagement and has since the beginning, but who also wears crimson and cream. We both work under the dynamic leadership of my devastating soror, Ashley Allison, who leads the Coalitions Department. There are so many Divine 9 members who work inside of this campaign that I won't even try to name them all. Instead, let me just say how powerful we are collectively and how amazing it is that we have nearly 30,000 individual panel members who have gathered here virtually in support of our D9 sister, Senator Kamala Harris and Vice President Joe Biden, to support a ticket that values racial equity such that it is not only embedded in our policy positions, but will be their approach to governing. We know there are efforts to try to silence our voices by suppressing our vote. We each vowed to dedicate our lives to community uplift, and we persevere and we honor the legacy of our founders and our ancestors, and we show up and out each and every time like we have done here tonight. Family, we have once again demonstrated that we show up not just for ourselves, not just for our Divine Nine family, but for our communities. In this moment, we have to not just hope, but help our D9 sister, Senator Kamala Harris, and Vice President Joe Biden win. Now, if we had leadership that supported science, we would all be gathered in person and I would be outstepping my colleague, Trey Baker, who thinks that he can cane better than anybody. But because we are here for, okay, here we go. This is what I deal with every day. Brother Trey Baker, take it away.
Thanks so much, Audra, and thank you to everyone who joined us here today. Cheryl Underwood, Terrence J, love y'all. Y'all bring it every single time, and we appreciate y'all, our Divine Nine family. To the presidents who joined us today, your strong leadership really set the path for all of us going forward. And of course, to our CBC family, you set the stage. You are indeed the conscience of the Congress, and we look to you for leadership every single day. And of course, to our next Vice President, Senator Kamala Harris, thank you so much for coming on and talking to the Black Greek letter organizations. But here's the deal, y'all. It's time to work. We've done the talking. We've done all the different things that we can do. We've talked about the policy. We've talked about everything else. We have to turn it up and turn it out for this vote for Joe Biden and for Kamala Harris. So here's a couple of things you can do. First, get involved in the program. Text AFAM, that's AFAM, to 30330. That'll get you all the emails, all the updates. We're going to be sending you a lot of stuff. I'm going to be spamming you over the course of the next 5 days because it's just that important. Then we need you to go to iwillvote.com. Go to iwillvote.com to see your registration status. Make sure you're good. Make sure you know where your precinct is, how you can vote. Do you drop off vote? Do you do early in person? Is it still time for you to do early in person? Do you have to go on day of? So you can figure all of that out. But we need you to get involved immediately right now with the campaign. So right after this, we're leaving. So I need everybody right now. After we leave, DJ D Nice is gonna come. He's gonna drop some records. We're gonna dance it up a little bit. But we need you to go to our phone bank that we're doing immediately after this. You should have a button in front of you. If not, you'll get directions in your email because all of you who registered will be able to send you instructions out. Additionally, now, we need you to download the Vote Joe app. That's the Vote Joe app. Go pick up your phones right now. It's in the Apple Store. It's in your Google Store. It's everywhere. Download Vote Joe. And so then you can become a part of the community. And so all of the contacts in your phone, you can tell who's voted, who hasn't, what they need to do, and you can send them text messages because relational organizing is so important to our community. So you need to call all your line brothers, all your Sands, all your deans, all your pro fights, all your neos, anybody you get, and set them out and make sure that they are voting. So that's it, y'all. It's time for action. We know what to do. This was one of the largest events in terms of registration that the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris campaign has had in the history of this whole campaign. And y'all demonstrated exactly what you can do. And so we need to do that. We need to have a presence at the polls. We need to stroll to the polls, and we need to be there on election day. So with that said, that's too much talking. I got my cane because Audra will want this smoke, and I'm about to give her the smoke right quick. And I know Terrence J brought his boots, and so he wants that smoke too. And so what we're gonna do now, if D Nice is still here, we're gonna kick it to D Nice for about 10 more minutes, party it out, and then we're gonna go and we're gonna do the work. Thanks so much, and I'll kick it over to D Nice.
Let's go out with time for some action. That red man. Let's go out with that.
Right now. Seriously, thank you, Trey. Thank you, Ajwa. Thank you, Terrence. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you to the Divine Nine, and of course, thank you to Kamala Harris. We love and support you. Let's do it. Time for some action. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Once again, it's D Nice. Shout out to everyone from the Divine Nine. We had almost 30,000 people together. Come on.
Let's get ready to rumble. In this corner, we have the funk body snatcher. We funkadelic, then I got you. Hard enough that I could chew a whole. Time for some
Come on.
Come on. We have the funk body snatcher. We funkadelic and I got you. Hard enough that I could chew a whole bag of ride. Chew an avenue, chew an off street and off block. To turn around and do the same damn thing. I'm a hustler, baby.
Come on.
I just want you to know.
Let's dance, Cheryl. I see you. Let's dance, Cheryl.
But where I'm about to go. Now I just wanna love you. But be who I am. Know you love me. And with all this cash.
Come on. Shout out to my brother Terrence J. I see you, Terrence.
Now give it to me. Give me that funk, that sweet, that nasty, that gushy stuff. But don't bullshit me. Come on. Give me that funk, that sweet, that nasty, that gushy stuff.
When the Remy's in the system, ain't no telling when I fuck 'em, will I diss 'em. That's what they be yelling. I'm a pimp by blood, not relation. Y'all be chasing, I replace them, huh? Drunk on Chris, money on E. Can't keep a little model hands off me. Both in the club, singing on key. And I wish I never met her at all. It gets better, ordered another round. It's about to go.
Bass drop, bass drop, bass drop. Out,
come on.
Out, out, out.
We gotta get out there and do the work.
You got a $100 bill.
Let's do the work together. Come on.
You got a $50 bill. Get your hands up.
Let's go.
$20 bill. Get your hands
Once again, it's D Nice.
$10 bill. Get your hands
Let's go, D9.
I can't hear you.
Say what?
Single ladies. Big noise. Single ladies. I can't hear
We're doing this all over the country. 5 days left. 5 days before the election. Let's get out there and do the work. Come on.
Be quiet. Yeah, baby, stop this. 2, 3, 7, sing along. Come on.
Trey, I don't see you dancing, Trey. I don't see you dancing, Trey.
All the good looking women sing along.
Let's go. Come on.
I can't hear y'all. What's your zodiac sign? What's your zodiac sign? I can't hear y'all. What's your zodiac sign? Yeah. Out, out. If you got long hair, get your hands up. If you got short hair, big noise. If you got long hair, get your hands up. If you got short hair, big noise. If you got long hair on your head, ladies. If you got long hair on your head. If you got long hair on your head, from your ear to your sleeve, even if you got a wig up.
Yo, Terrence J. You know I love you, bro. I see you, Terrence. Here we go. Come on.
Yeah, this is a story of famous dog. For the dog that chases its tail will be busy.
Let's go, Terrence.
These are clapping dogs, rhythmic dogs, harmonic dogs.
I gotta let this breathe out.
House dogs, street dogs.
Come on.
Dogs of the world unite. Dancing dogs.
We love you, Terrence.
Nasty
Let's go.
dogs.